Today we're going to talk about the different brushes that are essential to your glasswork. This is kind of the deluxe set that I've got here in front of you. Some of the basic tools that you have at home are your Q-tips, toothpick. You can use, we have what we call our tool. It has a pointed end, a squared off end. We use the pointed end to mix our enamels. And then we have what's called a dotting tool. This particular one, there is a set of 3. This is one that we sell single, and it's in the kit. We have, this is our mop brush. The mop brush is a soft white goat hair. Okay, it's great for swiping in backgrounds on glass, so you could kind of swipe it back and forth and get a background. So that's a fun one to use. The fan brush, you can do the same thing to achieve larger areas. We also use the fan to apply the etch-all and the etch-all dip. That's really good for that. And then we have the medium Sumi. The Sumi brush is technique specific. You can water load and dip into the color and then kind of pat it in, and you get that faded look. It actually does the shading, and then you can add detail work on top of it. So that's another nice one. Then we have our basic class brush. This brush, it comes in a couple of different sizes. This is the 2/0, and let me zoom in so you can see that a little better. Okay. Okay, so this is the 2. This is for your basic enamel application. I've got one here. Okay, so this is just what I apply most of my enamel work with, is this one size brush. I feel like if you stick with one size instead of going to larger ones in larger areas, you'll get the same application all over. And it generally, that way you don't get too thick or too thin. Okay, so for instance, like this piece here was applied with that brush, so I was able to just flood in the colors. Talked about the Sumi. This is just another sable detail, great for smaller areas or for even smaller little strokes. You can do some tapping in here with it. So it is a sable, and we're going to go, we use both Taklon and sable. So your Taklon is the kind of the yellow or golden hairs, versus the sable looks like the hair on your head. So if you compare these two brushes here, let me move these out of the way. So you can see that this is just kind of it's a waxy coating, man-made, versus the sable, which is a natural hair, like the hair on your head. So they hold different amounts of moisture. The man-made one, the product is going to slide off quicker. Your natural hair is going to hold the moisture, hold the color, just like your shampoo on your hair. Okay, that's that little detail one. Then we have a couple of different liners. These are both sable liners, really good to touch up like your piping lines, or just to add, once again, that fine detail. So this little tiny brush, I'm not going to take the cap off of it because it's new. Let me grab one over here. And when your brush is dry, the hairs are kind of bushy, but when you wet it, it becomes more refined. So you can sit and actually pull in those little tiny fine lines, outline with that. Okay, so that's that brush. This is what we call our paste brush. This one, like I said, we use it for our paste. It is a natural hair brush. Okay, it also is great for comma strokes. So, for instance, on there, I can lay it down and it comes back to a nice point to do those strokes with. So that's a nice brush to have. You can also do it, you can use it for shading also. Okay, so that's what that brush is. Like I said, you've got a longer liner and a shorter liner. These are both sables. They're great for detailing fine line work. This is another round, like I showed you a minute ago. So you've got a sable round and a Taklon round, and that's what those two brushes are there. Okay, so there again, one holds more moisture or product, the other one doesn't. There are a couple of different sizes that'll give you more range for your brush work. And then we have a square shader. This is a Taklon square shader. It's great to do brush work with. I used it here and was able to create these different little strokes on this particular piece. Okay. And then this is the stubby brush. The stubby brush is a mongoose hair. So it's a multi-hair. It's got some coarser and then some lighter. It's great to stipple on. Okay, so if you want to tap it and stipple on, like the centers of the flowers, going back to this one, so you could lightly touch it and just add little tiny dots basically because you're stippling it. Okay. And then the dotting tool, like I said, this is one of the sizes that's in the kit. It's just a single, and I don't think I have anything to show you, but basically you can just load in your color, tip, 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 and then you can get dots. And then our basic tool to mix our glass enamels with. So this is your premium glass brush set. So it pretty much has, I would say, 90% of what I use in my glass work. Okay, and you can check the website for that. So that basically covers all of our brushes, not all of them, but what's in this set and the uses of them. And I'll do additional videos on each particular brush so that you can see those in action. Okay.